Hey everyone, I hope all is going well and you had a great Christmas with family and friends. As we get ready to go into the new year, Lucy and I have been talking about a topic that I think relates to a lot of different people, especially her and I at the moment. So we wanted to take this time and sit here and talk amongst ourselves and also include you guys about seasons of change. Right now, my season of change is going from school to finding a job.
And I've just finished work and now I'm waiting to go on my mission trip from January through to June, and then I'll be going back into university.
So even though both of these seasons of change are completely different, there's still many things that we can do within this season to embrace it and to come out the other side even stronger
Yeah.
and closer to God. And so we want to sit here and talk about that with you. We have four different points, so we're going to go through each point, and hopefully you make it to the end with us. Our first point, which is very, very close to me, is waiting. Sometimes I can be impatient at times. I laughed. But I've been very challenged in this time. There's been many mornings where I wake up frustrated of where I'm at in life, and that makes my day even worse because I don't want to talk to anybody. I don't want to do anything. It causes problems between us two and between other people I encounter, and it just makes for a bad day. I've been challenged immensely from her and many other people through this time, and waiting is a big key. I think sometimes we just take our focus off where we are in life because we want to be in certain places at certain times. We hear many people say, by this age, I need to do this. By this age, I want to be here. By this age, I want to make sure this is done in life. Where we take our eyes off of God and we just focus on where we're at in life and what we've accomplished. And sometimes we make it seem like what we've accomplished defines who we are as a
Yeah.
person, which isn't true at all because God is beautifully paving a path before us. And when we take our eyes off of that, we don't get to come closer to Him, and we don't get to see the things that He's going to be doing in our lives because we're so impatient and we only think about where we want to be in life and what's happening in our own life. And reading through that, reading through the Bible and talking about this, we came to a verse in Ecclesiastes, chapter 3, verse 4, where it says basically there's a time to cry, there's a time to laugh, there's a time to be sad, and a time to dance. Basically, just showing that there's a time for everything, and although your time might not be right now, your time is going to come because the Lord is working in your life. And although at times you might be frustrated, annoyed, impatient, or even angry at God, He's doing things in your life, and He's giving you the opportunity to become joyful or to be impatient and be frustrated in that time. And He wants you to choose joyful because He wants you to be happy with where you are and know that He's going to do something in your life. And that, I think, also can go easily into our second point, which is...
So it's looking at how we can grow in the season that you're in and in the waiting. Um, we're so often focused on, okay, I want to get to the next season, I want to go into a new job, into a new season, and God's like, rather than trying to get out of the waiting and the place that you're in, how about you try and see what you can get out of that time? So how can you grow? How can you change? Asking the Holy Spirit, what fruit of the Spirit can I grow in? Can I grow in patience? Can I grow in trust in God? Can I grow in joy, in faithfulness? Rather than just being so set on the next stage in life, He's like, actually, I want you to come to me, shift your focus from that, and ask me, how can I be changed? So there's a verse in Romans 8, verse 24 through to 28, and it says this: "That is why waiting does not diminish us any more than waiting diminishes a pregnant mother. We are enlarged in the waiting. We, of course, don't see what is enlarging us, but the longer we wait, the larger we become, and the more joyful our expectancy. Meanwhile, the moment we get tired in the waiting, God's Spirit is right alongside, helping us along. If we don't know how or what to pray, it doesn't matter. He does our praying in and for us, making out of our wordless sighs our aching groans. He knows us far better than we know ourselves, knows our pregnant condition, and keeps us present before God. That is why we can be so sure that every detail in our lives of love for God is worked into something good." And like that bit at the beginning when it says, we of course don't see what is enlarging us, it's the idea that God operates outside of space and time. As Tyler said at the beginning, He is paving something beautiful for us. He's got amazing plans for us and different opportunities that He wants to bless us with, but we don't necessarily see that because we don't have His eternal perspective. And it's letting go of that and saying, okay, God, I know that you're doing something, you're planning and preparing something, but rather than rushing and waiting to get into that next season, how can I grow here? How do you want to use me here?
Yeah, I think that ties perfectly into like the fruit of the spirit, like we talked about earlier. Do you want me to grow in happiness and joy? Do you want me to grow in character? Finding something that you're able to grow in during that time, and actually sticking to it, and allowing God to help you grow in that area, and allowing him to change you in that area as well. And it reminds me actually in Luke when angel comes down to talk to Zacharias, says, don't be afraid, God hears all your prayers. And especially with what you said, it doesn't matter what you pray. He just wants you to talk to him. He wants you to have a conversation with him. Whether you think you're great at praying or whether you think you're not, it doesn't matter what you say. He hears everything you say, and he's there with you. He's literally sitting there with you, listening to you and hearing everything that you ask him. And although it might not be happening right now, he's going to do something in your life that you can't even think is going to happen, or you don't think is going to happen. It's beyond your imagination. I think that also takes us into our third point, which is basically letting him use you where you are, which can be very difficult at times because it's not always about us in this point. This point challenges you to focus on other people and where they're at, or if they need something in their life, if they need God in their life. Basically allowing God to work in your life to show other people how he loves, or to let his light shine through you, basically. So for example, I work at a restaurant right now. It's not where I want to be. I want to be in the sports industry right now, and it's tough. I can't find a job. But I'm not going to sit there and complain. Rather, I'm going to let God use me where I'm at, and use me for the people that I'm working at, or working with, I should say. So basically just allowing him to use you where you are. And that goes into basically 1 Corinthians 1:17, which is, sorry, I have it right here.
Well, 7:17.
Yeah, 7:17. Thanks. Each of you should continue to live in whatever situation the Lord has placed you, and remain as you were when God first called you. And I think that's very challenging, because basically it's telling you to act how you'll act when you are. How do I say this?
When you've got to where you want to be.
Exactly.
So if you're going to be joyful and happy and glad when you're in the job you want, in the place you want, whatever it is, you can't just wait until that time to display the fruit of the Spirit and to display that joyfulness. You have to do it where you are right now.
Exactly. So when you have the job that you want, where you want to be, you're going to act a certain way. You're going to be beyond happy. You're going to want to work, but you need to act that way where you are now. And if you're not in a job that you want to be in, or you're not in a place where you want to be, what? You're laughing 'cause yeah. Anyways, you need to act joyful in that situation of where you are, and allow God to use you for the people that are around you, because it's not necessarily about you in this point. Really, it's about where you are and how God can use you in that place.
So that kind of links into the idea of shifting your focus. When you're in those seasons of waiting and change, you can feel frustrated. It's human nature to feel different emotions, to be anxious, to be annoyed, to feel that God isn't listening to you or hearing you, or responding to you. But he wants you to shift your focus from yourself. There comes to a point when you have to just stop dwelling in your feelings and your emotions, and say, okay, God, this is where I'm at. Nothing is changing. I know that something will happen, but for now I'm waiting. And saying, God, how can you work in and through me to the people that I'm working with in the place that I'm currently in? Just looking to him and saying, okay, God, I want to be used by you. Will you use me? And I think that's often what he's waiting for. We spend so much time saying, God, get me out of here. He's like, well, I would if you would just let me use you right now to develop the things I want to in you for when you go into your next season, because it means that you're going to grow and change and be even better prepared for the next place that you're going to go.
Very true. And finally, our fourth point, basically just trusting in him and knowing who he is and what he wants and what he's going to do in your life. Go ahead.
So there's a verse in Isaiah 55:8, which says, "For my thoughts are not your thoughts, neither are your ways my ways, declares the Lord. As the heavens are higher than the earth, so are my ways higher than your ways, and my thoughts higher than your thoughts." And that again links into the idea that we can't see all that he's doing, we can't comprehend it all, but we know his character and nature, that he's a good father, that throughout the Bible he has fulfilled his promises and blessings to so many people, and we hear it in so many people's lives today. And often it's a lot easier to believe it for someone else than it is when you're facing that situation and when you have to wait for his blessing or for an opportunity to come up. But if you're rooted in God and you know, okay, God, I know you're a good father, you're a provider, you care, you see my wants, I can let go of it and just give it over to you.
Definitely, and I think that also links into a very famous verse that many people know, Jeremiah 29:11, where the Lord says, I have great plans for you, not plans to hurt you, but plans to make you prosper, plans to give you a hope. And I think inside of all of us, we need to actually believe in that. I mean, many of us can sit here and say, oh, I believe in that half-heartedly, but it's about sitting down and bearing your cross every day and actually believing it, and believing that he's gonna very much pave your way of where you want to go, and he's gonna answer your prayers, and he's gonna be there on a daily basis for you. And as we've gone through these points, I want to show that this is the foundation of your relationship with God, where if you allow him to work in your life and you know that his very character and his very nature is gonna take you to where you want to be, then you're going to allow him to help you grow. You're going to allow him to help you wait and be patient, and you're going to let him use you to bring other people to him. This is where it starts, and although it's easier said than done at times, if you're in the Bible every single day, it's going to be that much easier. He wants to have a relationship with you. He wants to use you, and he wants to do great things for you. And if you let him, you're going to be able to embrace this time of change and embrace this season of change, and come out even stronger on the other side. So when other difficulties come up, you're going to be able to deal with them, and you're going to be able to look to God and say, you know what, I've dealt with this before, and I can do this, and I know you're there for me, and I know that you're doing something ultimate in my life, and you're going to make it even better than what I can think.
Yeah, he's using those times to prepare you for what you may face later on in life and the different seasons you may face then.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So, well, you made it to the end. Thanks for sticking around. I know we like to repeat ourselves sometimes. But us to you, we would like to challenge you. We would like to challenge you where you're at. If you're in a season of change, or if you're getting ready to go through a season of change, we want to challenge you to try and embrace this season of change and try and let God work in your life, and to become patient and choose joy over frustration, and to allow him to help you grow, and to use you to bring people closer to him who may not know him, and to ultimately trust in who he is. To ultimately trust in who he is and what he wants to do in your life. I hope you have a great New Year's, and I hope 2017 is amazing. We'll talk to you soon. Bye.
Bye.